Dictation starts in 3, 2, 1, start. Mr. Chairman, the question of credit deserves serious consideration because the availability of finance has a direct effect on production and employment. This is particularly true in rural areas where farmers, small producers, and village industries depend upon timely credit for their activities. If finance is not available when it is required, even a person who is willing to work may be unable to increase production. Cooperative institutions and banks have been developed with the intention of meeting this need. They can play an important part in providing credit to people who may not have access to other sources of finance. But the success of such institutions depend upon proper management, adequate resources, and a clear understanding of the needs of the people whom they serve. The procedure for obtaining a loan should not be unnecessarily complicated. At the same time, the institution must be able to satisfy itself that the loan is required for a genuine purpose. Agricultural credit has special importance because the income of a farmer is affected by seasonal conditions. A farmer may require finance for seeds, fertilizers, equipment, or other inputs before the crop is ready for sale. Repayment arrangements must therefore take account of the agricultural cycle. If a borrower is required to repay a loan before receiving income from the crop, unnecessary pressure may be created. The terms of credit should be designed with reasonable consideration of these circumstances. There is also the question of interest. Credit must be available at rates which do not make productive activity uneconomic. At the same time, financial institutions have their own costs and responsibilities. The government must therefore consider the matter as part of the wider credit policy. Subsidies or concessions where provided should be directed towards genuine productive purposes and should be reviewed from time to time. The protection of borrowers is also important. A person who takes a loan should know clearly the amount borrowed, the rate of interest, the schedule of repayment, and any other charges involved. Information should be provided in simple language. Lack of understanding can lead to disputes and can damage the relationship between the borrower and the institution. Proper records and transparent procedures are therefore essential. Banks should also encourage productive investment rather than merely increasing the volume of lending. Credit for irrigation, storage, agricultural equipment, and small industries can contribute to long-term improvement in rural areas, where a loan creates additional production or employment. Its economic value may extend far beyond the individual borrower. Another issue is the recovery of loans. An institution cannot continue to provide credit if a large proportion of its advances remain unpaid. At the same time, recovery measures should distinguish between deliberate default and genuine difficulty, where circumstances beyond the borrower's control have caused a temporary problem. Reasonable arrangements may be considered, but deliberate misuse of public or institutional funds should not be encouraged. The expansion of banking facilities must therefore be accompanied by effective supervision. Branches should maintain proper records, examine applications carefully, and monitor the use of funds. Regular inspection can identify weaknesses before they become serious. Training of banking staff is equally necessary because officers dealing with rural credit must understand local conditions as well as financial procedures. Finally, the objective should be to create a system in which credit supports production, employment, and economic development. Rural people should not be forced to depend entirely upon informal sources when institutional credit can be made available. Banks, cooperative institutions, and government departments should coordinate their efforts and ensure that finance reaches the people at the right time. If this is done with proper safeguards, rural credit can become a strong instrument for improving production and strengthening the economic position of small farmers or producers. The expansion of rural banking should also be accompanied by better communication with the people. Many potential borrowers may hesitate to approach a bank because they are uncertain about the procedure or the documents required. Banking institutions can help by explaining their schemes clearly and by maintaining regular contact with local communities. The government should further examine whether the existing network of institutions is adequate in areas where agricultural activity is expanding. A branch which is accessible to the people can make a significant difference, particularly when the farmer needs assistance at a critical stage of the agricultural season. Credit policy should therefore be supported by suitable banking arrangements and trained staff. A further point is that credit should be accompanied by guidance. A borrower may obtain finance but still face difficulty if he does not know how best to use it. Extension services and local institutions can provide useful information regarding productive activities and repayment planning. This can improve the quality of lending and reduce avoidable defaults. Okay, now look at today's shortcuts. Farmer, below the line, just take MR. Farmers में सर्कल ऐड करना है, फार्मिंग में ING ऐड कर लो. कंसेशन, कन का डॉट S और शंस, concessions. Long term, I will only take L and term. Short term, only short and term. Mid term, mid लेके term. Medium term, mid M term. बैंकिंग, लिंकिंग, श्रिंकिंग में से मैं सब में से के ओमिट कर दूंगी, बस के की वजह से बहुत लॉन्ग हो जाता है. बी एंड डबल एन, बैंकिंग तो कुछ होता नहीं है तो बैंकिंग समझ लेना. लिंकिंग एल एंड दिस लिंकिंग. श्रिंकिंग, श्रिंकिंग मैंने इसलिए लिखा बिकॉज बैंकिंग फैसिलिटीज आ रहा था, तो फिर वही बैंकिंग बना के विल कट इट फ्रॉम फैसिलिटीज का जो कटिंग होता है एफ एंड सर्कल. इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट, ये दो वर्ड्स हैं जिनकी डी से कटिंग होती है, डेवलपमेंट आता है. अदरवाइज डी की जहाँ भी कटिंग होती है डिपार्टमेंट आता है, ध्यान रखिएगा. इकोनॉमिक, इकोनॉमिक डी से काटो, इंडस्ट्रियल डी से काटो. नाउ कोऑपरेटिव एंड कोऑपरेशन. कोऑपरेटिव में मैं के डबल वी की हुक एंड कोऑपरेशन के डबल शन की हुक. दैट्स ऑल.